people coming in as the show gets going. Oh my goodness. You know what? Good morning, everyone. How are you doing? I forgot to hit the go live button. So if you're watching on TradingView, you know that I've been chatting for about 2 minutes or so. And if you're just tuning in on the YouTube, this is probably the first you heard of me. So apologies for that. Forgot a little bit of the important part of actually hitting the go live button. But the good news is you got to skip a story about how tragically awful my sleep was because, well, I'm going to reiterate because why not? I was waking up like every half hour thinking that I had slept through my alarm, and that's just the way it goes for the pregame show. I know I got to be up at 4:30, and I think I'm up at 1:30, at 2, at 2:30, at 3:30, at 4, constantly worried that I've slept through my alarm. Does that happen to you guys? I'm not a big fan. Hey, Mary, Night Truck, Sandor. If you guys have a ticker request, we got some time for one of those. Happy to take a look at what's happening out in the universe. We're going to get started in, 6 minutes. And what we're doing now is just, well, our housekeeping, our warm up, and the real meat and potatoes of what we're going to do starts at 5:30. So that's the scheduled time for the pregame show. Lori is still in Houston. There's a chance that she is listening in. She's in. When you go to a hotel and they're like, hey, we have internet. I'm like, yeah, you do, but it's from like 1995, and I'm sharing it with 17,000 people and probably 6 volleyball teams with kids running up and down the hallways all night. So she does not have the capability to stream due to that ancient style internet, but she should be back. I think, what day is today? Tuesday? She should be back Thursday. So I'll be covering for her until that time. Yeah. Good morning. You love being a capitalist. Cool. All right. Let's talk about GME. We'll do a little quick warm up on the old GME side of things. Let's see what's happening. Okay, so first of all, I haven't looked at GME in a little while. I can see that I've got some horizontal resistances up here. So those are going to be an important thing to be paying attention to. They're likely from the weekly time frame. Okay, yeah. So it would have been quite a while ago. Now we have another weekly resistance. So we are up at 2230. Let's go throw in another horizontal resistance at our weekly resist here. And what we're looking at is almost a bull flag on the weekly time frame. I say almost a bull flag because when we have a bull flag configuration, what I don't like to see is signs of weakness in that initial push. A bull flag should be the pause that comes after a huge amount of effort. And that pause, we should see a slow decline, not because the bears are strong, but because the bulls are completely not there. They're taking a rest, so much so that the few bears who are there are able to casually push the price down, even though they don't have the volume to actually get any sort of massive downside movement going. So this is a little bit different because we see a huge amount of profit taking. We have to investigate in the smaller time frames, but I don't like the big upper wick right here. So yeah, there we go. Earnings gap up. That explains our move. And we would not call this a bull flag on the weekly time frame because of the action that is happening in here. We're settling out overall. We have resistance at $27. We have a daily resistance right here. And we're looking to open just below that in our pre-market. So if we can get over this $24 range, let's just call it 24 bucks. Yeah. Then bulls have a good opportunity to run to 27. Limited overhead area of resistance. Should be able to move through that like butter if we have a strong day. So I like that setup. 4-hour time frame, not going to spend a lot on. And on the hourly side of things, we're still in this big choppy rangy mess. So we are going to be looking at balance until we get out of balance. And we're not out of balance for me until we are at least over closing over on the hourly time frame 23.30, and then on the daily time frame I'm not particularly interested in directional trading until we're over that $24 range. Look at how much volume we have to chew through. Let's pull the whole thing. Let's pull the volume profile for this guy. We're gonna go, yeah, we'll just pull the whole thing. Look at all of that mess. We really, our point of control is where we are right now. So very, very close to this. And it's just going to be a slog. There's so much volume here, so much work to do. There are going to be better trades for us on most time frames. Look at a 22 to 22.68. Like that's your spread. You have better things to do with your time than to spend 8 hours or, look at that. It's such a small spread. That's what I'm saying. Wait on GME until at least we're out of the slog and we have some direction, because otherwise we're just going to be chopping around. I want bulls over $24. I want them to move through this range of limited overhead resistance. This total imbalance is going to give the bulls an opportunity to have some directionality to it. And until that happens, I think we can look elsewhere, okay? All right. Sandor, you want to take a look at FSLR? Curious about your take? Sure. I appreciate that you woke up too. I appreciate your watching. I always get up. The alarms very rarely ever like actually don't work, right? And I am not one to sleep through an alarm. Don't think I've ever done that. Whoa! Look at the power of sunshine. When is that going to flow into some tan holdings? I got a lot of tan in my long-term portfolio. Looks like I should have picked an individual horse. Well, this is, since I'm sure there's many solars that are not doing great. All right, FSLR weekly time frame. What's not to like about this? Weekly uptrend. If you're looking for long positions, EMA 12 is your friend. Look how many times over the past 6 months, almost a year. I don't know. I'm going to do the math. I just thought I would try to do the math. I'm not going to do the math. Weekly higher lows. I like it. Right now, we have a weekly uptrend. We have full directional control for the bulls. We are overbought, but you know what? We are chill with overbought. We have been chill with overbought conditions since August. So bulls doing very, very well. Daily time frame, we have our daily resistance just set yesterday. So daily uptrend is in control. Back burner is active. What I'm going to be looking for here is essentially, we're going to treat this daily time frame as a trend play. So our RSI at certain points in trend development converts itself into a trend indicator, not an overbought or oversold indicator. Now you'll notice that when we get up to our overbought conditions, we tend to pull back and we tend to set our lows when our RSI is in the 50 range. So around 46, a little bit lower in this case. We go back up to our high, overbought, cool. We come back down into the mid range for a low, come back up, overbought. So what I'm looking for is something similar to that. Looks like we got our low, so we'd be looking back up for a high. So our next low opportunity should be where you're going to look for your daily entries. All right, so that's our swing position setup. We're looking for RSI in the 50s to 60s on the daily time frame, and we'd like the bulls to stay over 199.81 to keep that magic in control. But hey, we are due for a little bit of a weekly pullback, but it's not going to be very much based on what we're seeing. I like that. On the daily time frame itself, daily consolidation, yeah, it's warranted. We got a high. We accomplished the goal. Now we're going to look for signs of weakness. Hourly time frame, yeah, a little bit of a lower open. We are overbought. Not particularly surprised by that. So anything over the low of day yesterday, which should be about 207.99, it's going to give us a higher low. And I would be very willing to play 5-minute bull setups just because the daily time frame and the weekly time frame is so strong. We're almost all uptrends, and those pullbacks are entry opportunities. So looking bullish on this one until we lose, well, we lose the hourly uptrend, which is not happened for a little bit of time. I like it. Okay, let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to the pregame show. My name's Jason. Chart Guy's Jason. I'm a friend of Lori's, and she's asked me to cover for her today. What we're going to do is go through our indices and some commodities and get a read on what's happening overall in the market for you today. All right. The goal of this is just to get a little bit of preparation under our feet, get an assessment of what the major charts are doing in anticipation of them having a large impact on how our day is going to go. So if we're looking to play bearish on individual names, we'd like to see that market being a little bit heavier than lighter, right? We want that volume and we want that direction in our favor. So with that said, do we have data? We just got to post in the chart, guys, for data coming in today. Building permits. Must not be in that calendar. I'll let you know if there's any important data coming in the chart, guys. Okay. And my wife just sent me a link. She's having a conversation on Instagram with someone impersonating me, and it's quite entertaining because they don't know who she is. She's a random account, but because she likes the original chart guys, she's getting all of these spam accounts from fake chart guys. It's quite interesting. Anyway, let's get into it. All right. First of all, NQ on the weekly time frame. I threw up these little levels, and they're going to be deleted in a second, so screenshot that if you want them. But pay attention to all of these resistances all the way down. The hourly, the 4 hour, the daily, the weekly resistance. It's all right here, man. April 2023. Oh, why is it not working? Yeah, that's right. April 3rd, that week. Man, it's already the 18th. So that is our weekly resistance. And if we are able to break that, then we are on track to test the highs from August 2022. All right. Now, if you go here, you see all these resistances all the way down. We are so close that our hourly resistance is that level. Now, given the fact that the bulls have some good control on the weekly time frame, the daily time frame, the hourly all the way down, if I'm a bear, I'm not going to be necessarily interested in getting in their way right now. They are steamrolling. The bulls are steamrolling toward that hourly resistance, that weekly, the 4 hour, the daily resistance, and I'm not going to be interested in a short position until we actually interact with that level. Why would I? The bulls have proved so much to me. I'm not going to doubt them. I'm going to let them try to get to where they need to go. Daily time frame. All right, let's get rid of that. Here's our support way down there. On the daily time frame, look at that. Big, beautiful daily higher low, inside bar, bull break, bulls on the way. Again, resistance, 13,348. What's in their way? Nothing. Lots of room for another daily higher low attempt. Should we pull back before we get to that level? But I think bulls are clearly in control and showing what they want to accomplish, right? Let's go to the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour, 4 hour equilibrium. We chatted a little bit about this yesterday. Here's our, yeah, I guess let's start it up here. Basically, we got a low, our high, low, lower, high, higher, low, bull break, bulls in control, resistance. No resistance in the 4 hour to 13,348. Bulls in control, 4 hour higher low, 13,076. Same story over here. So as you can see, the bulls are clearly in control. And one of the lessons that Lori's taught me over and over and over again is if the bulls are in control, believe them. Let them be in control. Stop trying to front run them just because you think they're overbought. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they're overbought right now. Look at the target. Look at the fever pitch bloodlust that these berserker bears or berserker bulls are in right now. Why would you want to get in their way? I'm not going to take a short on NQ until we actually see some signs of hourly weakness, some sort of setup that I can stop out against. And I would love that to be right above that 13,348 level and then falling back down to confirm that that weekly resistance is not something that we're just going to punch through right away and be able to carry through this strength on the 4 hour overbought time frame. Because look, it'll be close to overbought by the time we get up there. Certainly overbought on the hourly because why? We already are. Okay. Eyes on the bulls. Let's see if they're able to get up to this 13,348 level. I would not be surprised to see some early weakness this morning because we are looking for a higher open and we do need to consolidate a bit. EMA 12 is right close by, so we could get a couple hours of weakness as we see some profit taking from the morning session. But bulls are in complete control of the NQ side of things. Going quickly over to our ES. Here's our levels again. Very similar story. All right. Support levels. Resistance levels are all the same. They're all the high of the week of January 30th. Wow, we're doing better than the bulls are on the NQ bull side of things. Get rid of that screenshot. There's our setup. So we were looking at the weekly. Now we're looking at the daily time frame. So we have weekly support, 4 hour support, and daily support. And here's our hourly. Bulls in complete control. So we have a weekly uptrend. We're trying for one. No, I'd argue we do have a weekly uptrend. Low. So how do we establish a weekly uptrend? Do we have a low, a higher high? Yes. Do we have a higher low than the previous? Yes. So the most likely outcome is a break of 4208, follow through to be determined. Daily time frame, bulls in control. 4208 is our target. 4-hour time frame, bulls in control. 4-hour uptrend, target 4208. Hourly time frame, same thing. Do not get in their way. Bulls are telling you, we want this. We're in control. All right, so we're hourly overbought, looking for a bit of consolidation. Would not be at all surprised to see that. So I'm looking for internals to have a strong open. I'm looking for the consolidation that occurs to maintain a positive stance in those internals, and I'll show that to you in a minute. And I'm going to be looking for that higher low to be formed with a positive volume flow, a happy little internal structure, and then looking for the bulls to push back up toward the 4208 level for a big old victory. Okay, let's go to YM. YM on the daily time frame decided to get a little bit peppy. It broke its daily resistance. If we go on the weekly time frame, it's chugging along. So resistance on the weekly 34,551, but the daily time frame is doing just fine. Inside bar, bull break, got to target, doing just great. Lots of room for daily higher lows. 4-hour time frame is broke bullish as well. So clearly we have our it's kind of an EQ, kind of not an EQ. In reality, it's just a big old 4-hour uptrend, and the bulls are looking great. Looking for higher lows over 33,940. And now we've got ourselves, look at that, nice little pullback from the 34,275 break. This is what shorts want to see on NQ. This type of action where we get up to resistance and then we just chug right back down. Why? Because that's where the bears are going to be waiting. Believe the bulls. They have pushed this high. Why would we not believe them? Right? Now, they've accomplished their goal. What's next for them? Profit taking. Profit taking and short opportunity. So that's where we get that double whammy of profit taking and then selling. And then we get right back into hourly consolidation. So we're looking for hourly higher lows over 34,000 and 111. If we see that coinciding with overall profit taking in that hourly consolidation for the ES and NQ, then we could look for 4-hour higher low play to come into play. And that would fit the bill with this chart. Okay, the Russell. Very exciting about the Russell over here. Look at what this guy accomplished. Yesterday, I was all about closing over this big area of resistance. Now, this daily candlestick looks good, but we are not finished yet. But we got so close to it, and we're pushing back up. So I'm going to be a lot more confident in the Russell if we can break this level by closing today's candlestick very much like this. All right? Now, we've talked about this at length. Essentially, what we're trying to do is negate what otherwise would be a bear flag. So we have a drop, and we've been higher highs and higher lows without much follow through. But now, because we have moved through time long enough, I would say that this is negated. It doesn't look like a bear flag to me. If it was, the bears should have taken advantage of their opportunity and smashed the price down, but they haven't done that. Daily time frame looking good. We have a daily uptrend. Woo! And I'd love bulls to close above this level. If we can see some hourly consolidation and a close of 1827, oh, I'm feeling pretty good about the Russell. On the hourly time frame, hourly consolidation almost underway. We haven't lost the hourly stair-step higher low pattern yet. That's a nice, easy way to recognize when hourly consolidation kicks off. If we lose it and move right back up, then we got ourselves an hourly bull flag, and then our target for the execution of that bull flag, 1827.4. The highest point inside this big sideways pattern that we've hit. All right. Okay, so we chatted really briefly about internals. Internals are my baby. I love them. They're very helpful. Yesterday we chatted a little bit. We were looking for range, right? We're going to have expecting a range day, and we're going to look for our internals to reflect that. And for the most part, they did. So our internals opened in a pretty mediocre space for the NYSE, and we maintained that for the day. What was interesting about our internals yesterday is that, hold on here, I need to get a little bit organized. We saw relatively flat volume. We saw unsupportive of anything ADD, and we saw price moving down. So what that says is price is moving down against what the market is doing, because this is still positive and this is still positive. So there's a bit of a divergence between positive internals, albeit incredibly weak and balanced, it's hard for the bears to get anything going. We can't believe in the strength of the bears when the market itself is telling us that, hey, we're not really that weak. These guys are getting a little crazy. And especially when we combine that with the fact that over on the NQ side of things, on the NASDAQ, we had positive volume flow for most of the day. And we were still positive for ADD, and price was declining. So there was a divergence between internals telling us that we are not this weak. That's essentially what they said. We're not saying we're strong. We're saying that there's some bull volume coming into the market, more bull volume than bear volume. Price is moving down. Something's a little bit funky. So we don't believe that the bears have the outright control to keep prices low all day. It's just less likely to occur. And we combine this with Apple, who had this beautiful, like, double, triple bottom type feel. And then we just drew this converging range on the top of our candlesticks. Right around the time we get that shift, we see a bull break up. We back test that area, and then we see a rebalancing where our tickers sort of fell back in line with what the internals had been saying all day, which is we're not that weak. Did we have a great green day? No, not really. We just sort of closed net balance, and that's what our internals were looking for. All right, so quick internals lesson. What I'm looking for today on the ES and the NQ, we're going to be looking for a higher open. We're going to be looking for our internals to probably open in the 1200 range. What we want to see is have them hold that level, keep it there, maybe even build. And if we see pullback on the hourly time frame, which I'm not going to be surprised by, I want to see that 1200. Let's start over here. Where's our new day? We can't do it. We're going to look for something like this. Let's open in the 1200. We want that to come down with price, but we don't ever really want it to dip below zero. We want to maintain strength, and we'd like to see our volume relatively sideways, not too much bear strength. We want to see our tick pretty modestly under zero during that selling phase, because that will tell us that yes, we're consolidating the hourly time frame, but no, the exchange is not overall supportive of a massive bear move. If we see that lack of confidence in the bear move, we have more confidence in hourly higher lows, trying to anticipate and get into a position to capture those for the expected move back to the NQES resistance. Oh, it's a lot of talking from me. I do all my days talking in like the stream, and then probably not a lot for the rest of the day. All right, let's go look at the dollar real quick. Dollar on the daily time frame, daily downtrend. We had our daily resist yesterday. We set. Now, if we break to today or yesterday's low today, that is going to be locked right in. Current resistance on the daily time frame is yesterday's high of day, 102.228. Overall downtrend is good for the market bulls. And if we go to the hourly time frame, nice bear flag setting up. So big drop down, bear flag, higher highs, no follow through, lower lows. Oh, no, higher lows, perfect. And we're going to be looking for that to execute. Our target is 101.531, and we're going to get into hourly and hourly oversold conditions and horizontal resistance. So quick lesson on bull flags. 3 phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and it's just in reverse for our bear side of things. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 3, and phase 1 are usually, they're theoretically, the same distance. So that should be the same as that until you run into your first obstacle, which is here. Coincide with our hourly oversold condition. That would be our short target, 101.531. What happens after that? Who knows? That's a new setup, and that's a new analysis. The VIX is very happy. Well, I should say the VIX is very calm. We are at 1687. We are under the lowest point we have been since February 2nd, and we are just chilling down here. Our next support, 1603, and right now a little bit of a wedge shaping up. And I'm just guessing it's a wedge because we have consecutively smaller candlesticks, so a bit of a tightening range, and we can go and try and draw that in. And you know what? It's going to be a bit of a haphazard drawing. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of confidence in what I am drawing on because I really have one low in this data. But if we combine all this, would we say this is a beautiful wedge? No, I don't think anyone would say this is a perfectly technically drawn wedge, but we can all agree that there is a converging range, and that's what is important. If we can agree that there's a converging range, then subjectivity in drawing doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be perfect. We just have to say, yes, we can see that. We can see that we are squeezing up. And when we get ourselves a squeeze up, we get compression. And with compression comes expansion. And what we would like to see as a bull is a break outside of this pattern. And I am more confident in this resistance line, where we're looking for a break over top and out of pattern to get a little bit of a daily lower high going on the VIX. Big target for the bulls, $20. Anything under that, market's feeling pretty peppy. All right, US oil, doing not a lot of anything, still up in this big mess. Still, I'm not impressed with this at all. We're not talking about oil. Natural gas. Is anyone else having that problem with oil? Reloaded all my charts and everything, nothing worked. Natural gas. Daily time frame, bulls over that big cloud of resistance. On the hourly, we are down, back testing that level. It needs to hold. We need to see a 5 and 15-minute trend change for bulls to regain confidence and lock this in as an area of support. If we close under this on the hourly time frame, that's a bad show. All right, here's our back burner overbought telling us that we need to calm down, and that was a pretty good one. I like that. So, big eyes. Big focus on the hourly time frame. We've held this area as a support before on our previous attempts. If we close under it, then we are back under a different zone of control, and we will be looking for bulls to push down to the 194 range. That would be a higher high, but a unsuccessful hold of support on the hourly time frame. So back under this zone of control, which is a big win for the bears. All right, we got a few more minutes. Let's go look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is popping off. Bitcoin daily time frame, EMA 12 touch, gorgeous. Bulls in control in the short-term time frames with a target of $31,050. 4-hour time frame, big old dip. Look at that, 4-hour oversold, and then we get a punchy little, probably 15-minute oversold to follow, completely negating this bear flag. Look at that little bear trap. And what did we do? All we did really was revisit this area of imbalance. So we pushed up very, very aggressively. Bears did not have an opportunity to dabble. The market doesn't like it when one side gets to play and the other side doesn't get to play. And we'll often see us come back down into those areas where there's been only a little bit of one-sided action. So we had, just bulls. Now we need to shake that up. We need to let the bears play in the sandbox for a bit. They did. We'd stack oversold conditions, negated that bear flag, and bulls are in control. So we're still in a 4-hour downtrend, and unfortunately, playing by the rules, the most likely outcome is a lower high under 30,572. We go to the hourly time frame, bulls in control, hourly overbought, nice little back burner oversold bounce. 15-minute time frame, bulls in control, looking gorgeous. So we're looking for 15-minute higher lows, and we're looking for a big old test and break of that 30,050, like the lower high. So I know I just said the lower highs. Where was the lower high most likely? Yeah, here. So 4-hour lower high most likely. Hourly time frame, consolidation overdue, stair step pattern up. Room for hourly higher lows, which would lock in that 4. What happens after that? Will it dictate whether or not that's a 4-hour lower high, or we get another attempt? And yeah, nicely bullish on the 50-minute and hourly time frame. And I think that might just negate that 4-hour lower high. Ethereum. Hoo-wee. Ethereum on the daily time frame in a little bit of a bull flag situation itself. So this is not a technically perfect bull flag. 2140 is our area resistance. Hourly time frame, bulls nicely in control, chugging toward that resistance. And we are just moving so nicely that our RSI is not getting outpaced for us. 50-minute higher lows and higher highs. Bulls in control. Okay, I think that's more or less what I've got to say about the stream today. There's a couple ticker requests. I'll do a couple. And if you guys like ticker requests, this is what we do every morning, 3 times a day, in fact, in the chart, guys. If you've got something you want to know about or get a second opinion on the technical analysis, or your technical analysis is what we prefer, that's what we chat about. You can throw up a ticker and we will have a discussion about what we think is the most likely outcome, why this matters, what indicator means this, and help you tune your own analysis. That's essentially what the Chart Guys is all about. We got like a 1,000 people in there, man. Can you imagine hanging out with 1,000 people who love this stuff as much as you do? I can, because I get to do it every day. All right. Can I go over, I'm sorry if I missed anything. I'm going through the chats really quick. Can I go over FVRR long? Sure. Not a big fan of the daily chart. The weekly chart, also not particularly juicy. So we're looking for a higher low on the weekly time frame. We've already set that, but the move up has just been really kind of not doing a heck of a lot for us. Weekly resist, let's call it 46.88, make it a little bit easier on ourselves, and we have a weekly uptrend. So I'm looking for reasons to get into this. A long position, a weekly, aside from having this low and a weekly uptrend, is just not particularly interesting for me, and the daily time frame is not particularly interesting for me either. So we have an inside bar, double inside bars. We broke bullish and we failed to do anything with it. All right, so that ends up becoming a reversal signal, because a lack of follow through in one direction is a vote for the other side. So if I'm looking for long positions in Fiverr, I'm looking more toward the $34 range. I want to see daily high or low, and I want to continue this really modest move. Hourly time frame, equilibrium, balance, lack of interest on both sides. So we start to lose clarity here. Our EMAs are coming together, and we just don't have a lot of juice. Let's see what's next. One more. BBAI. Big Bear Incorporated. All right, Big Bear. This looks like a crazy chart. It is a crazy chart. All right, weekly equilibrium is most likely, given our low or high, high or low. So we're looking for weakness. Do we see any? No. Daily time frame is doing fine. Inside bar bull break, follow through, resistance. Ooh. Let's see. So what jumps out is this low support area resistance over here, right? 385, 379. We're getting close to that level. We're likely to be there today. If I'm looking for short positions, this is where I start getting interested, because we pull back from that level a lot. 4-hour time frame, bulls in control. We're at that level. So let's see what our interaction is. If I'm a short, I'm waiting for short setups with a little bit of breathing room so that I can have some buffer to stop out against. I would like to see a 50-minute oversold back burner, a bounce, a high, lower high, something that just screams inability to follow through. And then if we see that and we just see some chugging around under this key resistance, I start scouting longer term short entries on BBAI. Basically, we're right at a threshold where a major decision needs to be made. And if you're already in a long position, you're thinking about taking profits, because we're more likely to see daily consolidation than we are to see just straight up continuation. All right. All right, that's it. I got to go watch Dan do the morning show. It's technically pre-market because it starts in 4 minutes. Okay, so I'll be back, I think, midday. I'll be streaming again on the Trading View and on Twitch in about 3 hours. So hopefully you like the show. Appreciate you watching, and see you again tomorrow morning.